Our next guest, Val Kilmer, starred in movies like Top Gun. Hey, there was a movie called The Doors, and his brand new movie, Thunderheart, opened on Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Val Kilmer, a name that once dominated Hollywood screens with unforgettable roles in Tombstone, Top Gun, and The Doors. But behind the glamour, he has faced a life filled with tragedy, illness, and loneliness. What terrible truth caused this former star to become the one Hollywood abandoned? And how did, if you adore Val Kilmer and are fascinated by the dramatic and unexpected turns of his life, subscribe to our channel to continue learning about this powerful journey. Val Kilmer was born into a wealthy family in Los Angeles, California, on December 31, 1959. His father, Eugene Kilmer, was an distributor of aerospace equipment, and his mother, Gladys Kilmer, was a real estate developer. Despite their wealth, Kilmer's family life was far from harmonious. When he was just 9 years old, his parents divorced, and he and his two brothers had to deal with the division of the family. He lived with his father and two brothers, Mark and Wesley. Life with his reserved, distant father proved difficult in later years, and Kilmer acknowledged that the divorce had a significant impact on him, making him more withdrawn and reflective. My relationship with my father was tense for a while, but the tragedies didn't stop there. Kilmer's younger brother, Wesley, whom he loved, died unexpectedly at the age of 15 due to a seizure on the day Kilmer was going to travel to New York to attend Juilliard. Wesley was not only a younger brother, but also a companion in his creative dreams. He was a genius, and I always admired him. Kilmer once revealed in an interview that this loss plagued him for years, as he acknowledged that it took me 2 or 3 years after his passing to truly wake up. This tragedy marked a dark chapter in Kilmer's life and served as a deep inner drive for his future roles. Val Kilmer not only overcame the pain, but he turned it into inspiration to follow his passion for acting. He loved the stage and acting from a young age, regularly attending acting classes to hone his skills. At the age of 16, Val Kilmer achieved a significant milestone by becoming the youngest student ever accepted into the prestigious Juilliard School's drama program, sharing the stage with artists like Robin Williams, Christopher Reeve, and Kelsey Grammer. Kilmer jumped at the chance, but despite his excitement, he had trouble adjusting to Juilliard's strict environment. He later disclosed that he had trouble with the vocal exercises and strict procedures, but his talent and persistence eventually won over even the most picky teachers. Kilmer then started experimenting with his playwriting abilities, co-writing a play called How It All Started with some classmates, quickly attracted attention, and was picked up by well-known producer Joseph Papp, who brought it to the stage at the Public Theater in New York. This event marked Kilmer's first step toward a professional stage career, bringing him closer to the limelight. Kilmer made his official film debut in 1984 with a comedic role in Top Secret, a parody of a spy movie, where he demonstrated both his acting versatility and singing ability, despite the humor of the film. Kilmer's charm and self-assured on stage appearance shortly after he starred in another comedy, Real Genius, 1985, but in a completely different role as the bright but mischievous student. Mitch Taylor Kilmer showed off his versatility by adding intelligence to the role. This role not only attracted the attention of directors, but also made him a sought-after rising star among major Hollywood filmmakers. His career was truly at its height when he played Lieutenant Tom "Iceman" Kazansky in Top Gun 1986, the U.S. Navy blockbuster that cemented Kilmer's status as an iconic figure. Was Tom Cruise's character, Iceman, stood in for Maverick as his rival. The contrast between the two characters, one calm and disciplined, the other bold and rebellious, created a unique tension that made Top Gun unforgettable. Interestingly, Kilmer's personal life at the time was anything but calm. He frequently clashed with directors, co-workers, and crew members because of his rigid working style and high standards. He even disclosed that he didn't particularly like the Top Gun script or its war theme, but he was bound by contract. Top Gun's enormous success catapulted Kilmer to stardom, making him one of Hollywood's most sought-after actors. From that point on, Val Kilmer became a promising talent with a significant influence on popular culture. After Top Gun, Kilmer continued to challenge himself with roles requiring intense immersion and commitment. One of his most memorable performances was as legendary rock singer Jim Morrison in order to portray Morrison in The Doors' 1991, Kilmer not only imitated his style, but also trained to sing exactly like Morrison, leaving audiences in awe throughout the filming process. Kilmer lived as Morrison so deeply that he had to seek therapy afterwards to distance himself from the character. Kilmer's unwavering approach to deeply immersive acting won him praise from viewers, but it also made him a contentious figure on set in later films like Tombstone 1993 and Batman Forever 1995. Although his unyielding work style was not always well received in Tombstone, Kilmer's portrayal of Doc Holliday, a tough yet frail gunslinger, was one of his best performances to date. The film's highlight was the terrifying dialogue and confrontations between Holliday and the lead character Wyatt, played by Kurt Russell. In Batman Forever, Kilmer had the chance to play Bruce Wayne Batman, but the experience fell short of his expectations. Director Joel Schumer later revealed that Kilmer was one of, despite Kilmer's ever-increasing fame and iconic roles, he faced many challenges throughout his career, from his intense commitment to each role to conflicts on set. Kilmer developed a reputation as an artist who was not afraid to confront obstacles and always prioritized art. Kilmer brought a unique take on Batman by combining coldness and sensitivity, even if the role did not fully eclipse the legacy of previous Batmans. During the height of his career and iconic roles, Val Kilmer's personal life took a tragic and dark turn, from a romantic on-set love affair to bitter accusations of infidelity. His marriage to Joanne Whalley collapsed due to distance and unspoken suspicions. His immersive and passionate acting style helped cement his status as an icon, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of audiences. As brief as a movie scene, the couple got married and had 2 kids, Mercedes and Jack. But Kilmer's growing fame and dedication to his work soon put a great deal of strain on their union. Kilmer was always totally focused on his roles and grew distant from Wall-E as his career reached new heights. The tensions only got worse when rumors about Kilmer's faithfulness surfaced, implying that he was in a romantic relationship with well-known supermodel Cindy Crawford Wall-E. While Kilmer was filming the intense The Island of Dr. Moreau, Wall-E filed for divorce, leaving him to deal with a profound personal loss that affected not only his family but also his pride. The divorce ended what had once been a beautiful love story, leaving Kilmer with a scar on his soul that would be difficult to heal. After his marriage ended, Kilmer had several relationships with Hollywood icons, including famous affairs with singer Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, supermodel Cindy Crawford, and two of Hollywood's most attractive stars, Angelina Jolie and Daryl Hannah Kilmer, disclosed that they met on the set of the 2004 film Epic Alexander and fell in love right away. Jolie, who was recently divorced from actor Billy Bob Thornton, was dealing with the loss of her mother and raising her son Maddox by herself. Kilmer, who was single and had 2 children of his own, said he fell in love with Angelina Jolie on the streets of New York the moment he laid eyes on her. As Alexander concluded their relationship, Jolie starred in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where she met Brad Pitt, forming Hollywood's most powerful couple. Once one of Hollywood's most captivating stars of the 1980s and 1990s, Kilmer won the hearts of many Hollywood beauties, but he acknowledged that he wasn't a bad boy, but rather a slave to love and worship women with his good looks strong. Kilmer even considered hiring a plane to write V and J in the sky to surprise her. They shared a sweet and happy romance. Personality and witty sense of humor, Kilmer fell deeply in love with the well-known singer Cher when he was 22. Cher was 13 years Kilmer's senior and a major star in showbiz at the time of their 1982-1984 relationship, but despite their intense love, both of them knew marriage was out of the question because of their intense personalities. Kilmer found not only empathy but also a lasting friendship with Cher, so even after they split up, their bond remained strong. Relationship over the years, despite each going through other relationships, marriages, and parenthood. When Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2015, it was a difficult time complicated by his daughter's serious leg injury, business setbacks, and financial strain. Cher was the one who didn't hesitate to welcome him into her home, caring for and supporting him during these difficult days together. They shared funny moments amid the pain, helping Kilmer maintain his spirit in this life-or-death struggle. But the romance that left Kilmer with the deepest wounds was with Daryl Hannah. Kilmer once acknowledged that their breakup was the hardest blow to his heart. His feelings for her were so intense that when she married music icon Neil Young in 2010, Kilmer was unable to conceal his deep hurt, even calling it the greatest loss he had ever experienced in love. Kilmer's post-divorce romances were more than just flings. They were his attempts to rediscover warmth and genuine connection. But loneliness seemed to accompany him even though he stood at Kilmer was renowned for his emotionally charged performances as well as his intense dedication to his craft, willing to risk his reputation and career for his work. His strong personality and no-compromise approach caused controversy, but they also signified an artist who held himself and others to the highest standards. At the height of his career, he remained a lone traveler who was constantly searching for a place of peace in his life. On the set of The Island of Dr. Moreau, Kilmer once again displayed his Allen approach, even when it resulted in confrontations with director John Frankenheimer. In contrast, Schumacher later said that Kilmer was a perfectionist who wasn't afraid to fight for what he believed was best for the role, even though conflicts could occasionally be intense. This perfectionism undoubtedly helped Kilmer create a unique and memorable Batman that resonated with audiences. Kilmer's fierce dedication put him in difficult situations, but it also allowed him to weather countless storms as the Hollywood spotlight faded. He persisted and continued to perform in independent films even though his career may not have shone as brightly as it once did, focused on portraying the character as authentically as possible. And Kilmer remained steadfast in defending his vision for the role, even though these incidents occasionally led to misunderstandings. Despite enduring scandals and controversy, Val Kilmer remains a symbol of passionate dedication and irreplaceable talent in cinema. Although the spotlight may have dimmed his talent, his artistic spirit continues to shine, reminding us that an artist's career is measured not only by fame but also by how they live and contribute to their art with a strong, resilient personality, much more. Kilmer never lost his love for acting and art. He sought roles with more depth to show fans that his dedication was a testament to his artistic integrity. Left Kilmer with the deepest wounds was with Daryl Hannah. Kilmer once acknowledged that their breakup was the hardest blow to his heart. His feelings for her were so intense that when she married music icon Neil Young in 2010, Kilmer was unable to conceal his deep hurt, even calling it the greatest loss he had ever experienced in love. Kilmer's post-divorce romances were more than just flings. They were his attempts to rediscover warmth and genuine connection. But loneliness seemed to accompany him even though he stood at Kilmer was renowned for his emotionally charged performances as well as his intense dedication to his craft, willing to risk his reputation and career for his work. His strong personality and no-compromise approach caused controversy, but they also signified an artist who held himself and others to the highest standards. At the height of his career, he remained a lone traveler who was constantly searching for a place of peace in his life. On the set of The Island of Dr. Moreau, Kilmer once again displayed his Allen approach, even when it resulted in confrontations with director John Frankenheimer. In contrast, Schumacher later said that Kilmer was a perfectionist who wasn't afraid to fight for what he believed was best for the role, even though conflicts could occasionally be intense. This perfectionism undoubtedly helped Kilmer create a unique and memorable Batman that resonated with audiences. Kilmer's fierce dedication put him in difficult situations, but it also allowed him to weather countless storms as the Hollywood spotlight faded. He persisted and continued to perform in independent films even though his career may not have shone as brightly as it once did, focused on portraying the character as authentically as possible. And Kilmer remained steadfast in defending his vision for the role, even though these incidents occasionally led to misunderstandings. Despite enduring scandals and controversy, Val Kilmer remains a symbol of passionate dedication and irreplaceable talent in cinema. Although the spotlight may have dimmed his talent, his artistic spirit continues to shine, reminding us that an artist's career is measured not only by fame but also by how they live and contribute to their art with a strong, resilient personality, much more. Kilmer never lost his love for acting and art. He sought roles with more depth to show fans that his dedication was a testament to his artistic integrity. In 2015, at the age of 55, Val Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer, a revelation that would completely change his life. As a devoted follower of Christian Science, a faith that holds that prayer has the ability to heal all ailments, Kilmer faced his first dilemma when deciding on a treatment plan. At first, he rejected medical treatment for his illness, but like the iconic characters he brought to life on screen, Kilmer seemed capable of overcoming any personal or professional challenge. Wasn't an absolute truth, but rather a mistake in perception that could be resolved by faith and prayer. Kilmer once described his illness as a suggestion of cancer rather than actual cancer, a manifestation of spiritual weakness rather than physical damage. This was a deeply held belief, and he made the decision to confront his illness based on his faith. However, behind this decision lay the anxieties and fears of his family, his children, Jack and Mercedes, who weren't followers of Christian Science. Deteriorating health, they begged him to seek medical attention after noticing the severity of the illness. Kilmer was moved by his children's love and perseverance, and he ultimately consented to chemotherapy and radiation. This was not an easy choice, because he would have to face significant changes in his body and spirit. Kilmer started his treatment with hope and faith in recovery, but the exhausting effects of chemotherapy and radiation soon brought about excruciating pain and serious side effects. The throat cancer necessitated 2 tracheotomies, which changed the loss of his ability to communicate was a monumental challenge for Kilmer, who had dedicated his life to the art of expression. For an artist whose life was acting, every word was a painful effort. This loss struck at the core of his pride and sense of self. Kilmer had to adjust to this change and learn to use assistive technology to communicate. His voice, which had become his hallmark, was forever reduced to a faint, raspy whisper. In order to express his feelings and reflections on his healing journey, Kilmer turned his profound emotional wounds during his treatment into unique artistic creations. He started painting, creating abstract pieces, and writing. He once shared that when one thing is taken, another is given. Losing his voice ignited a fierce creative energy within him, and painting became his way of telling his story with profound aesthetic and emotional depth. Kilmer's artwork is frequently vibrant, filled with. Kilmer considers himself fortunate to have family, friends, and fans by his side throughout his fight with cancer. His children have been his rock, supporting him at every stage of his healing journey. His son Jack once shared that even though his father was physically weak, he remained incredibly creative. abstract yet meaningful images that reflect a spectrum of emotions, from pain and anger to hope and peace. He turned to art as a form of therapy, helping him find solace and meaning in his journey through illness. After going public with his fight against cancer in 2017, Kilmer received support and empathy from everyone around him. His story became a symbol of resiliency and determination to overcome adversity, especially for other cancer patients. Rather than hiding his journey, he bravely and openly shared it, raising awareness of the illness and offering hope to others. Mercedes also expressed deep pride in her father, saying that he always remained resilient and maintained his unique sense of humor even in the toughest times. Though his acting career isn't what it was in his youth, Kilmer looks back on his most successful days with a new perspective, saying that fame is a mess. Looking back on his past, Kilmer acknowledged that he took life too seriously and was easily depressed by titles, awards, and recognition, things that never came to me. I've always admired Meryl Streep, who has won 3 Oscars, and Kilmer once dreamed of a successful career, industry recognition, Oscar nominations, and even an Oscar. After such life-changing events, Kilmer has come to view himself with greater generosity and openness. He continues to pursue acting and has even ventured into directing in mid-sized and independent films, most notably his debut film, Mark Twain and Mary Baker Eddy. Throughout his career, Kilmer has appeared in 103 films, with Top Gun marking one of his most memorable roles given his life. She must feel amazing because everyone loves her. It's not just about awards. Profound meaning. Kilmer loved his role as if it were a part of his own life. In 2022, despite his illness, Kilmer reprised his role in Top Gun Maverick alongside Tom Cruise. In the 1986 film, Iceman and Cruise's Maverick were rivals who only reconciled at the end. 36 years later, the blockbuster returned, and although many of the original roles were absent, Iceman stood beside Maverick once more. This time, Maverick is now a Navy admiral, and Iceman has a significant influence on Maverick's career. They have a few text conversations and a face-to-face encounter that turns into one of the most poignant scenes in the movie. Val Kilmer's comeback in Top Gun Maverick was both unexpected and incredibly touching for viewers, especially since the actor had lost his voice almost 10 years prior due to health issues. The script for Top Gun Maverick created a middle-aged Iceman that mirrored Kilmer's actual condition, and Kilmer wholeheartedly agreed with this creative choice, even though the film doesn't say. Despite his health issues, Kilmer was enthusiastic and successfully finished his role in Top Gun 2. The film's release was greeted with an outpouring of fan support and critical acclaim. In their final scene, Iceman musters the strength to speak one L to Maverick using a screen to type his messages. This voice was created using artificial intelligence with a London-based tech company, synthesizing Kilmer's voice from previous recordings to match his iconic tone. Unforgettable experience for viewers. Have you seen Top Gun? If Val Kilmer's performance in this blockbuster type of film moved you, please share it with us in the comments section below. At 64, Val Kilmer is still active in the film industry despite health issues, continuing to inspire many and contribute to the arts. If you like stories like this, don't forget to follow our channel to learn more about other well-known people and the unexpected stories behind their lives. See you in our upcoming videos.